so Sieg hopes to let him go and assures Sieg that he won't be disappointed. Just then, the phone. Sieg took care of Will's, then answered the phone. This was their first conversation, and Sieg's demands were a bit over the top. He demanded Moss come, or go to Odessa for Moss' wife. Sieg had principles. That meant Moss had to die. He had to take responsibility for what he did, but if he returned the money, Sieg promised Moss that Moss' wife would stay alive. This conversation infuriated Moss, and he prepared to head back to America. This time, Christian and after chatting, both proved veterans, so Moss entered town. He first hit up a store, got a new outfit, then went behind the barbed wire to grab the cash and called out to her. Jenny said the sheriff was looking for him, but he kept quiet. Moss asked his wife to meet him at the El Paso Desert Inn to hand over the cash. He wanted his wife to make a clean getaway while Moss prepared to bargain. Sieg arrived at the employer's office since they sent him to retrieve the car. They even sent others multiple times, which was clearly disrespectful to Sieg. The mob boss dropped the call, saying, "What's up? I'm nobody, just doing some math." He handed over the cash to the Mexicans. He felt more and more eyes on him. It was outrageous. "You should track them down." "I get it. Are you hitting me?" "Well, that depends on you." Jenny and her mom went to El Paso Desert. Her mom nagged, disliking the son-in-law. Meanwhile, their car, already tailed by Mexicans behind. On stopover, Jenny bought tickets as the gang approached the old lady. She offered to carry the old lady's bags and, after a brief chat, learned her destination. Then Jenny called the sheriff. After much thought, she decided her husband needed police protection. She didn't want Mexicans in danger. Sieg's car was parked by the road. A medical vehicle came to help, but Sieg was in a rush. She wanted to hotwire the airport owner's car. "Can you toss that chicken out the What are you talking about?" The airport boss was probably dead. Sieg liked things clean. "Welcome to the El Paso Desert." A woman, noting Moss' handsomeness, invited him to her room for beer, but he was waiting for his wife and declined. Soon, the old sheriff showed up, but then gunfire erupted in the distance. A car sped onto the highway in a panic. The sheriff hurried to the Desert Inn, finding that woman dead by the bullet. There was a seriously injured Mexican guy, and Moss was already dead in the room. "Call the cops, call the cops." The inn was surrounded by police, and Jenny and her mom arrived as well. The old sheriff spotted Moss' body in the desert. He then found the local sheriff, who told him they found no cash on the scene. Moss only had a few hundred. Likely the gang took the money. As the old sheriff left, the local one mentioned the madman at Old Baby Inn. He first killed the inn's clerk, returned next day to kill a retired colonel. Unbelievable. The nerve of him to return to the crime scene. The old sheriff suddenly realized the killer might come back. He returned to the Desert Inn by car, ready to check. At the door, he found the lock on. Sieg was hiding inside the room. The sheriff pulled out his gun, his mind racing with turmoil. Next, he nudged the door open, headed for the bathroom, where the window was ajar. He knew the killer had taken off. The old sheriff sat on the couch, lost in thought, glancing at the vent, and unscrewed Great Sieg's coins. Probably took the cash. A few days later, the old sheriff visited his uncle, who had also been a sheriff, now in poor health, adopting a bunch of cats and brewing coffee once a week, which lasted him all. The sheriff noticed his uncle's plight and said, "He killed you, he's jailed. But if he's released." Uncle could only go with the flow. The once mighty deputy now accepted his fate. Soon after, Jenna's mother died of cancer. Post-funeral, she returned home and made coffee. All her loved ones had died, leaving her young and alone. Suddenly, she saw the window open. Subtitles, Sieg arrived, and Jenny quickly explained she hadn't taken the money and was still in debt. "I owe my mom's burial fees." "No worries." Sieg's here to honor his promise to Moss, not for money. That day, Moss didn't return the money Box had asked, so both he and his wife had to go. Jenny thought this made no sense. She begged Sieg, "Your husband has a chance to save you." Sieg was ready to give her that shot. He tossed a coin, had Jenny guess heads or tails. But she refused. Because this isn't a coin toss situation. Moments later, Sieg stepped out of Jenna's house, checking the soles of his shoes for blood. Looks like Jenny won't repay her debts. Sieg fulfilled his promise, left happily. The light turned green, then suddenly, a car ran a red light, hitting Sieg. She followed Rose but suffered an accident. Sieg limped from the car. Sitting by the roadside, a kid saw her arm bones exposed. Sieg spent 100 yuan, buying the boy's jacket, making a makeshift wrap for herself. The boy wouldn't take the money. He wanted to do a good deed. But Sieg insisted on giving it to him, saying to keep it a secret that they had met her. You don't know what this is for. Maybe after retirement, the old sheriff lived happily with his wife. Each day he did nothing but reminisce with his wife about last night's dreams. The film ends here, titled No Country for Old Men. But it's not about the elderly. The title may imply a lifetime of experiences gathered, only realized in old age.